heard that song maybe 1,000 times. Like my wife thinks it's a joke now. Like we'll literally be getting ready for bed. She's in her bathroom, and I'll see her like scooting around, like boogie and singing that freaking song, and I still like it. Like I know I'm biased, but I actually
it's held on a little bit. Yeah,
it has, dude. It's got some staying power. It's gonna die soon. Maybe next season it'll go off into the sunset. But I still think it's actually freaking catchy. So.
Yeah, well, margarita season's over with, but I mean, the jingle can remain.
It is, yeah. Now I'm kind of in coffee. I'm in coffee mode.
Coffee season. It's holiday, Christmas beer season. It's bourbon season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta calm down on the margaritas in December, unless you're one of those families that they do each holiday vacation. I've never done that, but
I would like to. I would do that.
With people that are on the beach.
Yeah, I would do that, man. I would go on vacation for Christmas. Have you ever done that? Have you ever done vacation for Christmas?
Mm-mm. No, we've done the for Christmas thing.
Yeah,
but definitely not like a beach vacation. But I could get on board.
When y'all did that, did you still do presents? Like, did everything just load up in the car and went? And wow, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, we did. We actually did that last year. We because so it's my mom's side of the family, and it grew this recent year, and so there's 15 of us, and we rented a cabin near Clayton. And
cool!
Like one of the funnest things we did was actually I took up my chainsaw, and it was on this lot that had a bunch of pine trees.
Yep.
And I went and cut down like a 20-foot like real skinny like pine tree sapling, we put that in the living room, and it was awesome. It was awesome,
dude. That's great. That's great, man.
Yeah,
I love it. So I know your kids don't watch this. My kids don't watch this because they're way too freaking cool to watch Margaritas with Mark. But what is your favorite gift you're getting your kids? And it doesn't have to be both, just one gift.
I gotta make sure they don't hear me. So Kennedy will be getting an American Girl doll. Okay. Cohen will be getting a Ryan, this YouTube star treasure box thing.
Yeah, dude. That Ryan kid makes millions of dollars a year. Like if you're watching this, if you don't have kids that are age appropriate for the Ryan toy review thing, I'm telling y'all, this kid makes tons of videos and gets a gajillion views on every single video. Oh, yeah. And so he makes it's actually him making the money. His parents obviously like get to orchestrate the money via a trust, but this kid makes millions of dollars literally reviewing toys. He now has his own toy line at Target. Like it's freaking ridiculous. Just to be like, it's absolutely the most 2020 thing ever that this kid is making all this money reviewing other products.
Yeah. I want to hate on it, but I can't. It's working for him.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
If it were me, I would take that money so fast. Like it's so funny. Gosh, y'all, I wish I had uploaded them and showed them to you right now. Back when my son, who's now 8, he doesn't watch Ryan's toy review anymore. But when he did, he would always snag my iPad when I would leave it around, and he would do the like, "Hey guys, this is Judah." Like he would like do all his toy. I still have all the videos on my iPad. They are absolute gold. I mean, freaking hilarious. So bad, but like beautiful and hilarious at the same time.
Okay, what about your kids?
Man, my son, he's getting a basketball goal, and it was one of those things like we can't hide it. It is what it is, And so like,
I saw that in your driveway recently.
Yeah, you saw what is still the unfinished basketball goal in my driveway. It's still there right now. So I have to finish that. That's still on my to-do list. And my daughter's still into the Frozen thing, but she's also into My Little Pony. And so she's getting a big My Little Pony. I think the name of the pony is Summershine, I think. Don't quote me, but I believe it's Summershine. And she's also getting a dollhouse, like a Frozen dollhouse. So
nice.
Yeah, we scaled back a little bit this year. Last year, I kind of went out of control. I kind of went a little too far. So we're kind of pulling the reins back. And so we're not doing like 20 presents a kid or something like that. It's like 7 or 8 a pop. And so it'll be good, man. They'll have a good time. But yeah, that's kind of it. I bought my sister, because she lives with us now. She's back at school from Barry. I bought her some new Nikes that she wanted, and
nice.
Lauren and I are getting furniture. So welcome to adulthood.
Exciting.
It's
Emily and I, we bought a new mattress.
Did you? What'd you get? I know we talked about that. What'd you land on?
We landed on the Nectar,
Okay.
which is supposedly this for side sleepers, which we are.
Okay.
We're about, I think we're about 2 weeks into it, and they say don't judge it yet. They say like wait at least like 3 weeks to start judging it.
Okay.
And like what's been odd is like I have found myself like sleeping on my back with a new mattress, and so I'm
Really?
like, wait a second, am I a side sleeper now, or am I back sleeper? Am I going to revisit this? So
So do you
jury's
like
still
it?
out on it. Jury's still out.
I
Like
like it.
it's
That means
definitely
no.
like,
For everybody watching, that means he doesn't like it.
well, here's the thing. Like it is definitely 10 times more comfortable than the mattress we were on. Like we were on
Fair.
a spring mattress that we'd had since we got married 10 years ago. And like, it had formed the craters and the mountain in
Yep.
the middle,
Yep.
super uncomfortable. And so
Yep.
this new one is like, oh, super comfortable, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, is it, I don't know. So I'm holding judgment.
So another episode, another day. Maybe it'll just be you and I. But I
Mattress
I would
review.
love to hear why you chose to go foam versus box spring. All right, because I'm a big spring guy. Like I love my
Yeah.
spring mattress. So I would love to hear the ins and outs of
Yeah.
that, but not on this. We'll hold that for
Okay.
another day.
All right. Let's
So,
talk real estate.
let's talk real estate for a minute. This entire season, we took last week off, and we'll be off again next week because if you didn't know, it's Christmas next week, and we have families, you have families, and so we're just going to skip margaritas and we'll do bourbon with our family. But we've spent this entire season that's going to wrap up at the end of the calendar year. We'll have one more episode for this year. We've been talking about real estate investing, how it's been our hope, our ambition that we could talk you, the person here through the screen, that we could talk you into believing that real estate investing is not a pie in the sky only for the multimillionaire, only for the person who gets the sweet, huge inheritance. Like that it's actually for the average person, you and me and Alex right here, that it's for people like us. It is accessible, it is possible, and it's happening every second of every day in the United States. The average Joe, blue collar person is cranking it out, making a huge inheritance and the life that they want, where they're not a slave to the 9 to 5. That real estate's creating that for them. And so we've used this season to explain not only the logistics of the process, but how we are actually going about doing this right now. Like this week alone, I actually went under contract on 2 duplexes in Eatonton, Georgia, not South Carolina, Georgia.
Yep.
And these, I'll give you the numbers really quickly. These 2 units they were purchased as a package for $210,000. Now we're actually splitting them up for the closing, which means they're both going to be $105,000. And realistically, if I wanted to flip these, I could flip them off the bat, sell them individually, and make some decent money. But both of these rent for $600 a side, so $1,200 a pop, and the mortgage between the 2 of them is going to be right about $1,000. That's taxes, insurance, all of it. So you can see they're going to cash flow, even after some repairs and stuff. They're going to cash flow between $800 and $1,000 a month. And
Nice.
that's just mailbox money that we're going to reinvest into real estate and kind of keep to the side for rainy days and that kind of stuff. So it's super, super exciting. And what's equally as exciting is while on this particular project, I'm providing the down payment, like I'm sourcing that myself. But I had 2 partners, y'all, who were willing to line up the money for the down payment, and they would get half of the interest in the property. So our deal could have looked like they provide the down payment, I bring the deal, and I manage the property manager. Is how things were going to shake out, as well as making sure repairs were done and things like that. But for those of you again sitting there and you're like, Mark, that sounds awesome. I don't have money. Well, guess what? When you find a good deal, money's not the problem. Money follows a good deal. It has a way of doing that. And that was true in my case. And so I promise you guys, the hard part, and we've said this all season, the hard part is finding the deal. Finding a deal to get excited about, and money will follow the deal. So this is something that's realistic for all of us. And Alex, I'm going to hand off to you because we actually listed a house, and we're going to talk about this through the rest of the episode. Yep. We listed a duplex today, and by no means are we trying to use this episode to sell the duplex. So don't check out now that I've said that. We're using it as a typecast for the rest of our conversation. So I'm going to hand off to you because we're going to talk about being an owner-occupant in a multifamily scenario. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know we're gonna watch a video here in a minute. We'll actually talk about the house itself and what house hacking is. But yeah, this is 3912 Darrow Lane in Gainesville. So it's in the northern part of Gainesville and still really close to the lake. And what I think makes this a great like investment opportunity is like you can do a lot of different things with this duplex, right? I think there's a lot of different ways that whoever ends up owning this thing like could get cash flow from this. Mm-hmm. And so we talked about that in the video, so I don't want to just repeat it. Do we want to kick off to that now?
Cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, today we are out in Gainesville, Georgia, and I'm going to quickly talk about Gainesville because, guys, this is one of the most up-and-coming communities in all of Metro Atlanta. Now, this property, it's actually a multi-family property, which means one roof and two doors, and these are actually built with the purpose of being for investment. Now, some people, they'll live in one side and then rent out the other, and honestly, this guy ends up paying the mortgage. So it's a really, really sweet scenario. But I want to give you a quick history of why rental income is so massively important. When you own a rental property, there are actually 4 benefits that you tap into. Number 1 is you get money in your mailbox. Like, that is not the worst thing in the world to go out and you got a check waiting for you every single month. Number 2 is you're paying down that mortgage, which means your cost is going down and down and down while your interest rate stays the exact same over the life of that 15 or 30-year loan. Number 3, you have amazing tax benefits. It's why anyone who has significant wealth owns massive real estate in their portfolio. Real estate allows you to have huge tax advantages. And the number 4 is your house is going to go up in value. While the housing market may do a little bit of this, if you watch it historically, if you go back and look at the numbers from, let's say, 1900 until now, you're going to see that the house market has kind of done this, that it's progressively gone up, and that we have no reason to believe that housing is ever going to do anything but that, because frankly, guess what? They're not making any more dirt, okay? The dirt is what it is, and so it's just going to go up in value. And so those 4 things are what make real estate investing so significant. So whether you're going to house hack and live in one side and rent out the other, or you're just going to own this as an investor and rent out both sides, this house today has a fit for everyone. So I'm going to send you inside, let you see it, and then Alex is going to meet you on the back end and give you all the details. Y'all head inside, take a look.
All right, now that you have seen the house, I just want to recap it real quick. It's 3 bedrooms and 2 baths on each side. So 6 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms total. Now, there are 2 great ways to make money off of this unit. You live in one side and you rent out the other, and that's basically you're living for free. Or you rent out each unit or rent out every single bedroom individually. Now, Northeast Georgia in Gainesville the hospital is only 10 minutes away. So a great scenario is nurses that are traveling around the country need individual bedrooms to rent out. It's a very common thing that could happen. You'd have no problem renting out this unit. It's brand new in terms of all of the finishes. So if you're interested in this, please reach out to me or Mark. My number is 770-530-8073, and let's chat.
I like that vest.
Hey, thanks.
But yeah, man, thanks, so that's the latest listing over on Darrow Lane in Gainesville. And as you saw, that's multifamily. Both of those units are equally as attractive, both completely redone and functionally identical while kind of mirroring each other. So I'll hand it off to you. Walk us through House Hack. What are we doing with that if we buy that as a primary residence?
Yeah, I mean, so let's talk about what house hacking is, because we've been saying that. I don't think we've defined the term, because it's
Fair.
used in real estate investment circles, and it can mean a few different things. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, in the very simplest example, like, we've all had roommates at one point or another, right? College years, young adult years, like, we probably all had roommates before, and we're all renting out like a room in a house, right? A house hack is basically, you go buy a house and you live there and you rent out a couple bedrooms, to some roommates. Say you have a $1,200 mortgage on a 3-bedroom house, you rent out 2 bedrooms for $600 and live in, and you're living rent free at that point. Your mortgage is getting paid and you're getting equity on that house. Like, that's the simplest scenario for
Okay.
house hacking. And I mean, a great option for definitely a young unmarried adult. But I mean, today, we're talking about a multifamily property, and usually you hear the term duplex, triplex, fourplex. It's a 2-unit is a duplex, 3-unit, triplex, fourplex. You get it. And those are properties that they don't quite fit into the apartment complex category.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start getting like 5 or more, like, that's when it becomes commercial
Yep.
property, and then that's a whole different ballgame, right? That's a whole different set of rules. It's a whole different set of lending. So we're definitely talking about like small multifamily units. And so house hacking multifamily is, the idea is, you and your family, that you live in one unit and you rent the rest out. And this property is wrapped up in one mortgage. And so you are essentially living in one unit for free while the others are paying rent and paying for that mortgage and expenses. Let's talk about a couple different things about house hacking. We can talk about what makes a good deal, kind of a rule of thumb, and we can talk about how to fund those.
Hmm.
So we'll talk about it. Just when you're browsing through listings for duplex, right? And we can talk about the 1% rule. It's a rule of thumb. It's not meant to be gospel. It's just meant to be real quick. Would this work as a house hacking scenario?
Cool.
Really just an investment scenario. And the 1% rule is basically, is the rent you're getting every month exceed or meet 1% of the money you have into that property, the sales price, or the sales price plus renovation. So, real simple math. Let's say a property costs $100,000, and if you find $100,000 property, let us know, because I'd love to buy it. But
and that's 100,000 all in, like
yeah,
renovation, purchase
$100,000
price,
all in,
closing costs, all of it.
So we'd want a unit in that area to rent for at least $1,000 per month, and that's research that can be done by realtors and a lot of different other professionals. What would this type of unit or house rent for per month? So we want $100,000 property to rent for $1,000 per month. Or say we have a triplex, right? A 3-unit multifamily. Let's say that costs $200,000 to buy. You're renting in one unit and you're renting out the other 2 units for $1,000 a piece. Like, that would meet the 1% rule, because that's $2,000 coming in per month for a $200,000 sale. So that's the percent rule. Again, it's just a good way to see, would this make a good deal? I mean, that's when you're scrolling through deals and you're just seeing, hey, would this work? Would this not work? Would this work? Would this not work? And then you start doing real math of what the expenses would be for insurance and all that. Yeah, we can talk about how to fund a multifamily. That a lot of people know about mortgages and don't know about multifamily lending, and really, it's the exact same thing. That's kind of the fun part about it, right? Like, you can go get a traditional conventional loan for multifamily, and you can also go get like an FHA loan where the down payment can be as little as 3.5%.
Wow.
In Georgia right now, I believe that's right.
Yeah, I mean 3.5% is FHA.
Yeah. So $200,000 property, 3.5, $7,000 down. So if you're thinking about it and you're planning on house hacking a $200,000 duplex, that's $7,000 to live somewhere rent free if the numbers work out right. Like, that's a good deal.
I
So
mean,
I
it's
mean
way better
that
than holding the mortgage yourself. I mean, if you're a
yeah,
single adult right now, frankly, if you're even a married couple without kids, or maybe even with kids, like this should be part of your filter process right now. That as you're hearing this, this should automatically not be met with a no. It should be a that sounds really interesting. I need to think about that. Because the
yeah,
reality is, we're talking about this right now in the context of a multifamily property, but there is nothing stopping you from renting out a room, renting out your basement, even
yeah,
renting out. I mean, guys, it doesn't have to be even a live-in situation. I'm watching right now a lot of commercial property being leased out as storage space because they're not able to find tenants for the commercial space. That's house hacking. House hacking,
yeah,
at its largest sense, is using a space in a way that is unconventional. That's all
yeah,
it is. And so whether it is your garage as storage space, whether it is I've got a basement that's finished out and I can rent a room, like
hmm,
all of that falls in this same conversation, and it's all a way for you to grow wealth. What it's doing is it's lowering your liabilities so that you can increase your securities and then leverage those for assets. That's all it is.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, house hacking is definitely like I think the easiest way to get involved in real estate investing, right? And I wish I had known about the concept, studied it 10 years ago,
Hmm.
in my, mid 20s, because definitely that would have been an option, I think.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
I'm embarrassed to say, man, like I actually was house hacking before it was a term, before anything, and I didn't stick with it. Like I'm the story of I was doing something great, and then I got drawn away toward American dream normalcy. And the story was I'm in college, I'm a senior, I buy my very first house in 2009. So for those of you who weren't attuned to the market in 2009, it's back when the market sucked. It was totally in the can, totally dumped out. And so I bought this 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house for $47,000. The mortgage was right around 240 a month, a 240 mortgage. And so what I did, yeah, I know. Geez, man, that's like less than cars nowadays. But I rented out 2 of my rooms for 400 a pop, which means I got my mortgage paid, I got my utilities paid, and I got my groceries paid by my roommates who were my buddies who were happy to pay me $400
right,
a room. Like happy to. For them, they were saving money versus going to the college and renting a dorm room. And so they
right,
had a sweet deal. I had a sweet deal. And I'm pocketing money after paying for all this crap. And that was phenomenal. I mean, it was my first experience with real estate investing. But then after I got married, I got sucked away from this because it's not normal. You don't know tons of people doing this. And I got pulled away emotionally because of that. And I didn't follow wisdom because I just got sucked away by normalcy. And looking back, we really wasted a lot of opportunities, Lauren and I, by not embracing this and embracing a wealth building opportunity because it wasn't normal. And
yeah,
that's the red light in anything real estate investing. When you begin this process, I promise you, just like me, you're going to have people say, do you really want to be dealing with phone calls at midnight? And do you really want to be dealing with repairing toilets? And do you really want to be dealing with tenants damaging your, like, everyone's going to give you the million reasons why it's a bad idea.
yeah,
And I promise you, if you stay focused, could those things happen? Absolutely. But you're going to do a great job of hiring a property manager. You're going to do a great job of getting good tenants in the property. And you're going to find all those horror stories become much, 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 much more minimized, if not non existent entirely, because you did the hard work on the front end. You bought a good asset in a good area, you hired good people, and you put good people in the unit. And so there's ways to mitigate all of these concerns, but people who are not there building their wealth and building their portfolio and building their real estate assets do not get to speak into what you're doing. They do not get to crush your
hmm,
dreams. They're not there. They don't know. And so don't blow off their advice, but please don't take their advice. They just don't know. And they're
right,
speaking from a place of fear, not from a place of confidence. Because again, as we've said from day one this season, if you look at anybody who has built significant wealth, they own real estate. And it's not
hmm,
the home they live in. It is way, way bigger than that because there are so many advantages. In that video, I walked you through 4 of them. You get mailbox money, you get appreciation, you get mortgage pay down, and you get tax benefits. That's 4 very, very significant things that happen over the life cycle of a piece of property. And you get to engage in all of those. So that's why house hacking becomes such an exciting thing, is it is the entry door for someone who may not have an extra 20, 30, 40, 50 plus $1,000 sitting around for a down payment. It allows you to get into a property with 3.5% down and begin your real estate investing journey and wealth building portfolio. That's really, really significant. It's very exciting. Mm-hmm. So I'll hand back to you. You were talking through and financing and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's all I had. I mean,
cool.
There's a lot of different options. I mean, we're not lenders. We don't know all the different packages. We obviously work with lenders all the time, but if you need to talk with a lender, talk about what your options are, like reach out to us and we'll connect you with some right people.
Yep. And guys, even this,
it's just,
even this, man, there's so many ways to make this happen. Like in previous episodes, we've talked about the BRRRR method, and we're not going to go deep in the weeds with that. You can go back to previous episodes and listen on what that is. But you can even BRRRR a multifamily house. You can buy it, you can rehab it, you can get a renter in, you can rent it out. Like we can still do all of that and leave very, very little money in the project. So you may start off with 20% in the project, but after you've refinanced it, you may only have 4% left in the project. And so there's just so many ways to go about this. And here's what I want to say. I know that it may feel overwhelming because there's so many choices. And that's real. Like you want to feel overwhelmed, go eat at Cheesecake Factory. Okay? There's like a bajillion different things on the menu, and they're every different style of food. Like it's easy to feel overwhelmed. That's why we want to be part of the conversation. Alex and I are in this day to day. We are working with investors. We are selling their properties. We're representing them as they buy properties. We are very, very much in the meat of this conversation in the day to day. And I'm telling you, man, we'd love to help guide you in this, because this is clearly, if you haven't picked up on it, this is something we're massively passionate for. We want to see people engage in this way because we know how powerful it is for their families, for their future. And so we really do want this for you. So any final thoughts as we kind of sign off on this conversation?
No, I mean, Merry Christmas. We'll this will be our last bit until the week after Christmas.
Yep.
Just reach out to us if you're looking to sell or buy real estate here in the next year or so. So we look forward to 2021.
Yeah, man. We did a previous episode a few episodes ago, kind of our crystal ball and 2021. So if you didn't catch that, go back. You'll hear all our thoughts on real estate this next calendar year. But to give you the quick version, it looks good. It looks really, really good, to be honest. And so you have every reason to be excited. You have every reason to look at the market and feel confident. So go ahead and check that out. But man, like Alex said, Merry Christmas. I hope that this, in a very, very weird year, in a lot of ways, I hope that Christmas carries a unique value and a unique encouragement for you and your family. So, man, we're honored to be friends with you guys, and I hope, man, it's a really good holiday for y'all. So, signing off, I'm Mark McMinn.
I'm Alex Morrison.
Y'all have a good one. Peace.
See you later.
See ya.